And welcome to Against All Odds. My name is Rachel Munyeheli, and thank you so much for joining us right here. As you know, Against All Odds is all about showcasing survivor stories. And today's story is one that will definitely touch your heart. Let's talk about gratitude, the smallest things that we seem to take for granted. Family, for example, or even having a shelter or roof over your head. Food that you can actually get easily, and most importantly, having parents that are there for you. Today's story focuses on that. When you don't have that, you can see that life can be difficult. But I'm not here to tell that story. Tafadzwa is. Help me welcome Tafadzwa. Tafadzwa, thank you so much for joining us right here on Against All Odds.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, I know your story is the one that is quite touching because as an adult, obviously, you always want to know your roots, where you come from, and your family. Yes. Maybe let's start off by telling us how you grew up.
I was dumped when I was 3 years old. My mother was from Highfields.
Okay.
I don't really remember much, but I still remember the police writing newspapers and trying to advertise that there's a lost child. And no one came and no one bothered to even research for the child. And I was moved now to Harare Children's Home. I was 3 years old. When I turned 4, I ran away. You know, just not used to the place, not used to the people, and, you know, looking for clues if I can find my mother or if I can get my father or any relative that I can, you know, just find.
Okay. You talked about your mother dumping you, so I'm presuming she just left you at a particular location and she just went off?
Yeah, that's what she did. The dumping area, where you actually...
She left you by a dumping site, Pamarara?
Yeah, Pamarara, Papa.
Saka vanhu vakazokuonera vaipfuura vakakuona kana kuti chii chakaitika, if you recall, or you know, maybe from what you've heard.
From the papers, my file, it says vanhu vakazondoona until they made a police report kuti tine mwana wataona kunoku who is being dumped kumachipisa, and they had to come and make a police report and try to find out if there is anyone around that area. And no one even.
You know, it's very strange because community kana tichigara, especially kana kuri ku Highfield kashitarisa. Vanhu vanenge vachizoti apa panogara mainingi vane mwana. And do you presume that maybe she stayed in a different part of Highfield, ndovazokudampa in another area? Is that a possibility?
I would say so. Because definitely 3 years you would know where you live.
Yeah, this was.
So unogono zutera or something. Saka I would think that she lived in a different side of Highfields.
Okay.
So she dumped me kumachipisa. I don't even know kumachipisa ndo what I got, and I doubt could know what I got. So when she dumped me there, I had no clue. Could you way actually because Highfields is a big place. It's a ghetto actually. You won't even know where you can find a person. So I just like, you know what? Let me just.
All right. So you then were, you know, taken into a children's home, and then you ran away a year later because you're trying to look for your relatives again. Ndova waita say vakabva vakuwana futi ndova wakudzorera futi ikoko.
No, avanonditsvaga vakandowana. It's the street ahead.
All right.
Street ahead, it's whereby they come in the streets and give you food, give you some kind of needs that you want. So pakazoda time yakaita outbreak in street kids. So when I go to my streets, I change my homes. Then randomly I was taken back to that home.
You were taken back to the same home?
Same home.
All right. Saka mstritu maigara nani, if you remember?
Gudo.
Angari munhu mukuru?
Yeah. He was an older person.
Ndiye aikuchengetai. Would you stay Makawanda?
Yeah, we are 7.
Okay, 7 of you. And then all of you were taken away from the street?
Yeah, some are still there.
All right.
You
were saying that papa ne campaign yekubvisa vanhu vana street vachivaendesa kuma homes. I'm presuming that most of them, it was actually quite a success, but then maybe vakazotiza vachizodzokera. All right. Iwo pawakadzokera ku home 1 wakagara kuma homes zvenguva yakareba sei?
I would say half of my life.
Half of your life?
Yeah.
So when you went back at 4, Did you ever run away again?
I did.
At what age?
I was now 14.
So at 14 you ran away. Why?
At 14 now, it was now different. It wasn't because of I wanted to look for my parents.
Yeah.
It was now because of the treatment.
All right. What treatment were you getting?
At Upenyucha, it was more like a prison back in the day.
All right.
So, you know, Uchikesko was a ground, Rakakura, the soccer yard. You check in with the jacko, and you would find out even the way they would hit you. You'd actually look like it's an abuse or something. So in any country, I wasn't used to that. Vangavaripo, they were used to it. Because I took a punishment I wasn't used to it. So I had to run away.
All right. Wakatiza uchidzokera ku street.
Yeah.
And how long did you stay in the street again?
I didn't stay for long. It was 5 months.
Then how?
5 to 4 months.
How did you go from the streets? From the streets, where did you go this time?
From the streets, you know, the funny thing about the streets now, they always take you back to where you came from. So they have the file that they write kuti we wakagara mahomes akadai. Saka file rako rangotatu to home rakadai, they take you back there.
All right.
So I was taken back to Banyucha. Then I had to finish my grade 7. Then after my grade 7, I was moved back to St. Joseph's.
All right.
So when I lived to St. Joseph, I was now supposed to do my Form 1 to Form 4. Then I did my Form 1 to Form 4. Then my life was over now.
Okay. So when you were at St. Joseph's, you didn't feel the need to run away? Everything was fine at
Everything
there?
was all.
All right. Wakanyora Form 4 yako zvakanaka?
Nice.
Wakapasa iri pa Form 4?
I wouldn't say so. No.
Awuna. All right, that's fine. Okay. Well, you can hear him narrating his story, letting us know what actually happened at the particular time, saying that multiple times he did run away from the different homes he was living in. But most importantly, it was because he was trying to look for his parents. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll find out what happened next. Welcome back to Against All Odds. We get to continue with Tafadzwa's story. Now, just before the break, Tafadzwa, you were just mentioning that, you know, you had a series of running away from the children's home where you'd be staying until Wazowana, where you felt comfortable and it was okay. Kuva uri Form 1, ushika Form 4. Anti ndisho?
Yeah.
Washika Form 4, wangoni makuri mangani papo?
I was 18 years old.
You were 18 years. All right. Saka pauno shika 18 years. Kuhome wanovwati chi?
They definitely give you either 2 weeks or a year or a month because they will tell you that you are no longer under government.
All right.
You are older enough to take care of yourself.
All right.
So,
and for you, what was the situation?
Yeah, for me it was the same situation as in, you know, I was 18. I was supposed to look care of myself now.
Okay.
And of which I had nothing a way to start. It was just me.
It was just you. So how long of a period were you given for you to, you know, look for somewhere else to go?
We were given a year. On that year, we were not supposed to look for the jobs for ourselves or to look for what to do for ourselves. They would look for something for us to do. So they didn't find anything. Any, you know, school that we can just, you know, do general work or something like that. We didn't. So they were forced for us to, you know, to let us go.
Okay.
Because every year vanenge vachipinda nevanenge vachibuda. So vanenge vachipedzawo Form 4, they need to get in, and then vapedzawo you have to move.
All right.
So for us
that was it. And for you, now the year yakwana, you had nowhere to go. Yeah. What was the next step after that?
I wouldn't lie to you. It was the most. That's the date I will never forget.
Okay.
You know, when you now know the difference between the streets and being in a shelter, going back it will be hard.
All right.
So I was forced to go back, and but just how good it is. to live with people and mona and ndanga kuda kuramba ndichirarama that kind of a life. So pakazongosvika pakuguma yakaguma zvichangotanga ngondinakidza. So kwandiri it was just my life just cut and short.
Okay. Saka apa wakatodzokera mustreet here pawakabva papakanzi ibvai panapa chimboendai chichakaitika ipapo?
God sent someone, a donor who used to donate for St. Joseph's, God bless. He came to donate, and then we told him our story. That's what happened. Start to pay so we have to move. And then he was like, let me talk to the guy who I know, who used to live at the same place that I had got up. Then I come phone here, and then he was like, the guy said it's okay, you guys can go and live with the other guys. Then we started living with those guys from my fields, and life was good.
Life was good.
Yeah, life was good.
All right. Saka maigara ipapo muchichengetwa muri pamba ipapo. All right. Muchichengetwa pamba ipapo zvaifamba sei? What, were there any things that you'd do just to make sure, to keep up with your life so that you can have certain things, the necessities for your life?
I would just say we would just stay home.
Saka maito kugara muchichengetwa zvenyu?
Chingochengetwa. That's what he used to do. He sent anything. You would write request. To dama perfume, deodorant, chi. He would just send. Until the certain point, I was going, you know what? Tada kuti mwacha course muchaga charufarira kuita. And I wanted to do some decorating and media. So comedy ndakakushaya, and I had found deco. So I had to go with decoration. Then I started doing my decors. So I was going to school decorating until that's what was pizza chikoro chacho because of lockdown.
All right.
Lockdown I couldn't finish my and I was towards to certificate and I couldn't finish it. And one of our, when you are just in one house, we expect to be one family. And we have got same background. We know each other more than anyone else. But we chose to hate each other, make each other stories, mocking someone. That's what we chose to do. So in that house there was already groups, and I was one of the person I mock. And trust me, I was one of the quiet person. I would say it's okay. So vakazongosvika the point where they framed the story, and that story it forced them to chase me away from the home.
Okay.
And trust me, mangoye lockdown, you would know good even kana nokubatsa chaisatowanika. So life quantity was gone, and ndakatofunga kuti pangovid paingatowepo daingatorimi yakatotitora ndakatofa panguva yacho. But God works mysteriously. Saka
iwe wakaframirwa nyaya ndobva wadzingwa pamba pawaigara paipai. Apa pawakadzingwa wakabva waenda kupi?
I went in the streets.
You went back into the streets. And this
time,
was
the only option.
How long did you stay in the streets?
This time I did 2 years.
Uri streets. So for you to survive in the streets, what would you do?
We would grab my wigs, my purse, you call it my watches. You can grab anything. You don't know my umbrella. That was the only way of surviving. Because that takakumbira vanhu vaiti nyima. So the only way of surviving was just to grab it or steal it. So
ndozvamaita.
Ndozvataita. And mari yacho yasazoshanda zvino futi.
Maishandise chi mari yacho yamaiwana iyoyo?
We would go buy drugs, like glue, mbanje, fodya, alcohol. Ndozvamaitora. Just to have a blackout.
Kuti ukanganwe.
Just not to think about the day.
And you did this for 2 years. Where exactly were you staying? Any particular street?
Yeah, charge office.
Watogara pa charge office paipai?
Charge office.
Padhuze pamapurisa?
Padhuze pamapurisa pane, what do you call it, the old railway station.
Yeah. Oh, ku railway station kuya kuseri kuya ndo kwamaigara.
What I got.
Padhuze nepamapurisa muchita musikanzwa iwo.
Yeah. How would you see it? tanga titaizvivharira mama those used trains anenge akavharwa
Eh.
we would go and cover ourselves inside there
ndo mama igara imomo
nomataigara imomo you won't even see us doing anything chamaizotiona maitozona takubuda begging tipo mari tipochi taona maramba we just grab it and we run away
ko kugeza maigezera
we
kupi
didn't bath.
you'd go for days and you'd be fine without bathing
Yeah, and right now I can actually tell myself ndatotsvuka
ungo kwatosviba ukura
from what I was.
wow
Yeah, I was really dark. Really.
Well, you can hear him narrating his story of how he stayed in the streets for 2 years after being framed by his colleagues. Like he said, kuti tivakidzane tata kudzikisirana mumwe achida kuva pamusoro pemumwe kusvika azodzingwa pamba paigara. And he went on to stay in the streets. When we come back from the break, did he leave the streets? How did he do it? Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right here on Against All Odds. Welcome back to Against All Odds. Now you can only imagine having, a fluctuating life where sometimes things are okay, then it's not easy. Kurarama upenyu wakadaro. And as Tafadzo narrates his story telling us that he's been in the streets in children's home, he stayed in a proper home, but he even went back to the streets. Saka Tafadzo pa streets, this was your life for the past 2 years. Staying kuma train, kuti charge office, stealing to survive, using drugs and alcohol, substance abuse, just as a way of coping. But you said you were there only for 2 years. How did that trajectory change? Kuti 2 years zakwana. Was taona kuti ausisiri munhu wangu uchitaura apa manje manje. Saka zvakafamba sei ipapo. What was the transition like?
People are just different when we grow up. Some they grow up with a heart. Some they grow up without. There was a guy that I grew up with. He had a heart. He saw me the condition that I was. It bothered him to the last point. He was like, I can't leave him like this. He came to me and then told me, you know what, I can get you somewhere you can stay.
Okay.
For me, at the first time, I was like, you know what, dude, I'm okay. Just live your life. I'm living mine and I'm good. Then he keep on insisting, you know what, we are brothers. So I had that brother item was no longer in my spirit anymore. So it was hard for me to believe him.
Okay.
But I believed him the third time when he came again. The base where we used to stay. Akuna vanhu vese takagara navo kuona kuti ndo one type of the people that I live with. You know what, can we talk? The lady who I talked to, he's willing to take. I don't know if you are willing to go. And then I was like, you know what, fine, let's go. I mean, you know what, I was high at that time, or I don't know. But I just told him, let's go. Takaenda, and then the mother was like, you know what, you can stay in the garage, we'll be feeding you whatever you want, we'll be giving you whatever you want, but that's all we can give you. And I was like, I know, it's fine. So when I got papo, I would work because I was already used to wake up at 5. Was mstiti unongo 0 5 4 3 times unofamba vamwe vachibuda, you can just rob anyone at that time, or so I was used to those times. So ndakabva ndamuka 5, and then I started doing the chores. They had no gardener, they had no what, and then I started doing those things. So ivo pachezvavo, they thought maybe I wanted to get paid for what I was doing. So they insisted to pay me. But you know what, we have a certain amount, for what you're doing. I was like, you know what, the heart that made you make me stay here, that's all I want.
Okay.
The money, I don't think I would have the guts to accept it.
Why did you not accept money? What was your reason behind that?
Was to create a relationship
with them. Okay.
Because you don't know where life will take you. So I just thought maybe if I put the money aside and put the relationship in front, maybe somewhere, somehow, it will work out someday.
Okay. So your intention was, because you're taking care of him, like you said, they'll provide everything for you. Toiletries, they were providing shelter. In exchange, you would come through and you give them labor.
Yeah.
So why don't go to one pekugara uchichengetwa zvinhu zvako zvichiendera mberi?
I would say the bottom line, I wanted parents.
Okay.
That's the main reason why I would do everything. It's just I wanted a mom and a dad. Someone that I would just, hi mom, hi dad. That's all I wanted. So I just wanted to make that kind of a bond.
Okay.
So, and it worked. It did.
And the relationship was good for how long?
Until now.
That's definitely amazing.
Yeah, until now.
That's
They are my
definitely-
parents until now.
And did you ever progress from that?
Yeah, I did. Now I work for the church.
Which church do you work for?
I work for Healing River Ministries.
Okay. And what do you do at the church?
I'm a sound engineer. I do decorating. I, play with electricity some other times. I'm just a handyman.
How did you get to be introduced to the church?
There's a lady that used to stay at Grindo. My landlords, who are let me just say my parents.
Yes, they are your parents. They are.
She was a colored lady. So she knew that pastor, and then I didn't know that pastor because I didn't go to church. So that lady and I, we had a little bit of a connection because I was a person who used to tamba never mistake just to make
Friends and
friends
family.
and make connections, and so ndiyakazonditi would you mind if you go to church on Sunday? There's this prophet that I know. What about prophets? Go yourself. I don't believe in prophets. Just go, because I went to a prophet looking for my parents, looking for whosoever who's in about my relatives or something. No one came up. So you know what? I don't believe in prophets. Go. Then this is what at the time I was like, let me just call who they call the prophet. I called him, and we had a long chat on the phone, and I liked him. The Sunday I went to church. I had the word, and it just changed me.
Oh, that's amazing.
It changed me to the point where I was like, who does the chairs in this church? Who does the PA system in this church? And there was no one, because the church was yanga 2 years changu. And I was like, I'll be willing to do that.
Amazing.
So I used to wake up at 5, going to
It's
church, do sit my chairs angu, do sit not because of Koti, it was because of the heart. Now I wanted Lord to repay me with something else, not my parents, but something, because I already had one. My parents vakandipa shelter he gave me. So what I was wanting now is for him to guide me. So I was now doing and thanking the Lord with Mumhari. Until now, you've been with me. So until now, I can do anything for the Lord.
Oh, that's amazing. Tafadzwa, your story is very inspiring, I should say so. And I want to say that do not give up. Sometimes we lose hope and we feel like we're not going anywhere, but look at you and where you are now. God came through for you. You now have people that you can call family. You now have people that you can call parents. And if you look at your story, it should inspire you to do even better, and I know that you will. And I know that a lot of people will also be inspired by your story. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us right here.
Thank you very much.
If we talk about how God works in wonders, this is the story itself. He didn't believe in prophets. He didn't even want to hear about church. But look where he is now, serving, and his job requires for him to be in church. He also has acquired parents who actually took him in when he was totally nothing. God does work in wondrous ways, I should say this, and this is a testimony indeed. Against all odds, always here to bring you inspiring stories. Until next time, do take care.